What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on first take, they're going to be talking about how Luke Walton is now the head coach of the Sacramento Kings. So let's see what they have to say about that.
When he first got the job, I tweeted this and I stand by it. I think that Luke Walton was dealt a raw deal. I definitely appreciated Steve Kerr's comments about his friend, his former subordinate as assistant coach with Golden State, who filled in admirably when Steve Kerr was sick and guided the Warriors to like 23 or 24 straight wins to open the season and a 39-4 record. And I'm definitely happy for Luke Walton. I think he deserves to be a head coach in this league and deserves to be given a good opportunity, which did not happen in LA as far as I'm concerned. But damn, he had the job before he left the Lakers facility. I mean, do I have to be one that do I need to start calling for a Rooney Rule in basketball? I mean, see, this is stuff like this that really gets on my nerves because I'm going to say it again. This don't happen for black men. This don't happen for minorities, this kind of stuff. And somebody needs to say it, so damn it, I'm going to say it. The reality of the situation is that Luke Walton has won 40% of his games. Did he get screwed over in LA? Without question. I don't like what happened to him this year. And I'm happy he got the job. But you don't even leave the facility before you are in negotiations. Remember, it was actually true. Usually, Max, those things aren't true. When they say there was a mutual parting, that was actually true here. Because he probably told the Lakers, I'm about to get this Sacramento job, so let me go so I can leave since y'all were talking about getting rid of me anyway. And obviously the Lakers obliged.
So I don't really want to get into the race thing. I'll still clear that, let Stephen A say everything about that. But as far as Luke Walton getting the job for Sacramento, I think Luke Walton was screwed over by the Lakers and LeBron James and everything that went along with that. His plate was just full of things that he couldn't really, that were out of his control. Now, I think Luke Walton, his situation is like a high profile head coach case. So there are probably a lot of teams looking at him and judging his potential. Also, Luke Walton, he has won a championship being a player, and he's won a championship as being a coach. And for a little while, he coached one of the best teams in basketball with the Golden State Warriors a few years ago. So he knows how to win. He knows how to get it done, and he's young. So I think that was all that combined together is attractive for a team that wants to rebuild and start with a young head coach that has won as a player and as a coach. So I can kind of see how that would work out. As far as the race thing, I like to steer clear of that and let Stephen A say everything. But I do understand both sides of the race part and how Luke Walton would be an attractive head coach for a team that wants to rebuild and start. So I don't know, but let's just see what else more Stephen A has to say.
That kind of stuff just bothers me. Doc Rivers was a champion when he left from the Boston Celtics to the Clippers. He had won a championship, and they had to give up compensation to the Celtics, in order to get him to the Clippers. But you just get to leave and have something waiting for you when you've won 40% of your games. I don't like that.
But the importance of the Rooney Rule is to get people in front of people of color in front of people who have the power to hire, because there's a good old boy network, and that can also include people of color, right? So, for example, Ty Lue's going to have another head coaching job, Stephen A. Mm-hmm. Monty Williams, because they're in the network now, and you want to get more people in that kind of good old boy network.
They're competing with each other for an interview, Max.
Yeah, but there's.
So as far as Tyronn Lue goes, he won because of LeBron James and everything that goes along with that. So he got booted. So I haven't heard any of the teams really looking for Tyronn Lue other than the Lakers, which has LeBron James, which LeBron James wants Tyronn Lue there because he could push him around like he did when he was in Cleveland. So Tyronn Lue didn't have a lot of control of LeBron James when they were in Cleveland. As a matter of fact, I bet you the power percentage ratio was 90-10. Of LeBron James having 90% of the control and 10% going to Tyronn Lue. And LeBron James probably wants that again. That's why they're looking at picking up Tyronn Lue for the Lakers. So LeBron James has 90-10 control again over what's going to happen. And he didn't have that type of control with Luke Walton. And that's probably another reason why when LeBron was looking about going to different teams other than Cleveland, he definitely didn't want to go to the San Antonio Spurs because he wouldn't have that type of control with Popovich. Nowhere near have that type of control. So I don't know, but let's keep going.
they're going to get a job. Someone's going to get a job, and then the other one's probably also going to get a job in the future now that they're in that mix. If Luke Walton flames out in Sacramento, it's going to be a minute before he gets another head coaching job. But right now, he's seen as a very good young coach that a team can grow with, and I agree. Listen, did he have the Sacramento job before he left the Lakers? Right. So what happens to a guy when the new regime comes in, if you're a head coach? You're probably going to get replaced, especially if the star player comes in and would prefer another coach. You're going to get replaced. So the Kings wisely said, De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley III, we're going to grab this guy and install him as our coach.
So they have him, Sacramento picked Luke Walton as their coach, but I also heard that Luke Walton was up for the head coach job at UCLA to be the head coach for the UCLA Bruins. So I think he had other offers on the table, so it's not like this just popped up out of nowhere. People were looking at the situation with the Lakers, and everybody can see it. Like I said, it's a high-profile case that it'd be hard for Luke Walton to deal with LeBron James, to deal with his players that are probably going to get traded and have to have a whole new team, dealing with Magic Johnson that didn't really want him there. So Luke Walton didn't really have a strong chance of succeeding with the Lakers, which not because of his fault, but just a lot of different factors. So that'd be attractive to UCLA or whatever other teams to see that they can bring in Luke Walton and try him out, because he seems to be a good coach. He knows how to win, so I don't know. You can look at it a couple of different ways. So let's keep going.
I think look, if Nate McMillan lost his job and he wasn't hired immediately by someone, that would be a problem.
Well, Max, he had lost his job years ago in Portland and wasn't hired immediately.
But after the job, he just didn't.
He had to serve as an assistant coach. Mark Jackson won 52% of his games overall in Golden State, went 47-35 his second year in the job, 51-31 his third year in the job, lost his job and can't get
I want
to
stop right there. I want to discuss the Mark Jackson thing. There is a sense around the league that he prevented the Warriors from a dynasty given his offensive system.
Time out.
So it seems to be a consensus that other teams don't want him as the head coach, fairly or unfairly.
But the key word is fairly or unfairly.
But I don't think it's race-based in Mark Jackson's
I'm not
case.
saying it is. I'm just simply saying I'm pointing out the discrepancy. The fact of the matter is it helps that Luke Walton is incredibly liked. I like him. Most people like him. If you know anything about Luke Walton, he's impossible not to like. He's an incredibly good guy. And I think he got a raw deal in L.A. But it does help that there were people out there speaking up on his behalf as a person. When they get on Mark Jackson, even though you're right in terms of what people say, that's not what they're saying about Mark Jackson. What they're saying about Mark Jackson, they're questioning him and the person he was when he was the coach.
Paranoid culture and all that.
And that appears to be a pattern that happens with black coaches that don't happen with others. And I got a problem with that.
I think that's fair to say race plays a part. Even if it's unknowable, it's not a positive influence for the hiring chances of black men.
I ain't got no problem with Luke Walton getting the job. All the best to him. And
it's
I like
just not fair.
So I'm glad Stephen A. said that. I'm glad that he's not directly hating on Luke Walton. He's just hating on the situation. I shouldn't even say hating. He just, like I said, you don't want to shoot the messenger. So don't be mad at Luke Walton. He was able to get a job. It's just a situation that the way Stephen A. Smith, what he's explaining is he's mad at the situation, not necessarily mad at Luke Walton. So I'm glad he made that distinction for the people that can't make that distinction. So let's keep going.
I'm just saying,
you have to use your platform. I get it.
He had a job before he left the building.
Got it.